In 1846, a butler called Churchill was waiting to be brought up to the operating theatre at University College Hospital, London. He was due to have his leg amputated by Robert Liston, the showman surgeon. At the last minute, Liston decided to try out a new substance from America that would change the history of medicine. 8 years earlier, a group of men in the town of Jefferson asked their doctor if he would help them have a good time. He gave them some ether, a medicine used for chest complaints. They inhaled it. They began giggling. They felt lightheaded. They fell over. And most important of all, they didn't feel a thing. The doctor, Crawford Long, saw the bruises, heard that there had been no pain, and made a connection that no one else had spotted. Could this be the answer to the problem of pain in operations? Other medics were coming to the same conclusion as Long. In 1846, in Boston, Massachusetts, the dentist William Morton gave ether as an anaesthetic for the first time. Word soon spread to London about this amazing new substance. The scene was now set for a much more ambitious experiment, and there was one surgeon who was determined to be in charge of it. On the 21st of December, 1846, Robert Liston strode into his operating theatre and announced to his audience,
"We're going to do a Yankee Dutch today, gentlemen. Hold it!"
Liston was determined to be the first surgeon in London to use this new anaesthetic. Before administering the ether to his patient, it was tested on a hospital porter. The dosage was wrong and it didn't work. The patient, Frederick Churchill, was now terrified.
It was quite an experiment, in inverted commas, that Liston was performing here. Nobody had given an anaesthetic much before, so they didn't know how much to give or how long to give it before the surgeon could start, and they hadn't really any idea what the effects of the anaesthetic were going to be.
An eyewitness said that when the ether was put under Churchill's nose, he gurgled and went limp. Liston went to work with his trademark speed. The leg was cut and cauterized in an extraordinary 28 seconds. But he needn't have rushed. The only noise from his patient was deep breathing. At the end, Liston nodded to his assistant to remove the ether. The butler's next words changed the course of medical history.
When are we going to begin?
The day after Churchill's operation, a London newspaper proclaimed, "We have conquered pain." Liston understood immediately the significance of what had happened. He wrote to a friend, "It is a great matter to be able to destroy sensibility to such an extent and without apparently any bad results." Liston's enthusiasm for anaesthetics was soon matched by some solid thinking. Another doctor, John Snow, began to turn pain control into a science. Snow produced tables showing the correct amounts of ether to be given. He also invented new, more convenient inhalers for patients. Liston's charisma and Snow's advances turned the discovery of anaesthetics into a public sensation. People who'd been too frightened to have an operation because of the pain began to come forward. And whole new types of surgery became possible. Before anaesthetics were available, it was almost impossible to operate on the stomach.
The intestines were all pushing against you the whole time and might even come right outside the human body. Once that had happened, it was very hard to get them back in again because of this tension in the muscles. So the surgeons would fight for hours pushing things back in and trying to stitch you up again. Once you had anaesthesia, the muscles became more and more relaxed. So at a certain point, you could stitch them up very, very easily. And this revolutionized surgery.
Which meant good news for patients, but bad news for Robert Liston's audiences. It was now no longer necessary to operate at lightning speed. You could take your time. The sense of relief was summed up by Lady Paget, wife of the chief surgeon of St Bart's Hospital in London. She launched a campaign for Anaesthetics Day, a national holiday to celebrate the day pain was conquered. It was so important to her because she lived next to the operating theatres and was disturbed by the constant sound of people's screams. But But with the euphoria building, the shortcomings of ether started to become clear. It made patients throw up their entire stomach contents and was also mildly explosive. Many of the operations conducted in front of the roaring fires of consulting rooms had disastrous results. The use of a face mask was also a problem. It made surgery on the jaw difficult. It was uncomfortable for some patients. To solve that, doctors later learned to administer ether into the other end of the patient. Ether's many drawbacks meant the search was on to find an alternative.